This conference will
So
now be recorded.
yeah, okay. So let me open the previous one. I already. So let's discuss first the node function, the remaining node functions like the use one as many, and also the format by example. So every time, so we discussed about the context. We discussed about different types of node functions like creative creative exist and remove context, collapse context. We discussed about many things, but these will the remove the context, and also this will add the context based on the selected value. But here the node use one as many, the use one as many used for let me add this integration flow. So before going to the use one as many configuration, so I will explain what is the real-time scenario when we will use this use one as many. Okay. So here you can see, so this is the actual structure of the source message. So here I was taking the different structure for this. So here you can say, so this is the store structure of the message, this is the target structure of the message. So got it. So this is the source structure. So that means here I am getting header as a one item line. So got it. Header is getting has generated only one time. So but the line items are creating three times. So three line items are generating at the below. But at the target side, so along with this invoice number, I have to pass this line item as well, invoice number as well. So got it. So along with this invoice number, I have to pass this item number also. That means we are copying this header value. So we are copying this header value based on the main by using use one as many node functions. We are copying this value and sending to the each line item. Got it. So for example, if you see, you had a question in an interview, for example. So in that, what is the, can you please explain about the use one as many uh, example in real time? So that time you can say, you can simply answer them. So I have a one invoice header and then multiple line items. So what it, one invoice header and multiple line items. If I wanted to copy the header line item value to the all the line items level, so got it. So here I have this header, right? So this header value, so a inv number is copying at the target side multiple times. So see inv number inv01. So here you can see to copy, I mean to map this header item to the multiple line item. How we can configure it? So this is the source XML and this is the target XML. So I already converted them in a this one like XSD format. So you already know, right, how to convert XSDs. So that XSD I already created and uploaded in this mapping function. So the here I already uploaded. So in the resources I already uploaded that mapping. So here you can see in the resources I already uploaded this source XSD and then target XSD. So this is the source XSD and this is the target XSD. So this is about, previously we tested many mappings, right? So that mapping function is explained about here, the class 10 underscore inverse. So this is the mapping function I created. After selecting this, we will click on plus, right? So that option you can create the message mapping. So now I already created it. Let me open this node function. So after open the node function, I selected the source one. So source as a source XSD, target as a target XSD. So see source as a source XSD and target as a target XSD. So now see this invoice details, this invoice number always. So see here, this is invoice number, right? So this line item, so this invoice details will create how many line items are creating from the source. These many times this invoice details will be created. So see here, I just mapped one to one mapping here. So see how many times the line item is created. So see In this example, how many line items are created here? Total 3 line items. So at the target side, how many invoice details created? Total 3 times. So see here, invoice details are created based on the line item creation. How many times the line item create అవుతుందో, so that many times this invoice number, invoice details will be created. But coming to the invoice number, this is coming from the header field. So if you observe, this is coming from the header field. This is coming, the invoice number is coming from the header field. So when I normally, if I map this invoice number directly to this invoice number, what will happen is, so first line item, the first value will generated without any issue. For second line item, the invoice details we have, right? Second line item, so it is repeating, the invoice 01 is repeating only one time. So for second time and third time, there is no value for this invoice number field. So only it is repeating one time, right? So that is the reason it is sending to the first line item of the target set. But a second line item and third line item doesn't have values, right? So that time you will get an error like q doesn't have values, like that you will get an error. So to reduce that error and passing that same header value to the multiple occurrences, we can use one as many. So it will available in the node functions. This is use one as many. So here, see here, use one as many, this function I dragged. So this function contains total 3 inputs: the first input, second input, and third input. Let me explain about what is the use of input 1, input 2, input 3, and what are all the conditions we have to maintain for input 1 and input 2, and input 2 and input 3. So till now everything understood, right? How, what is the use case of use one as many?
Chandra, now you mapped this invoice to I mean source invoice number to invoice number and also the line items to the invoice number, right? Two times.
Yes, yes, right.
Okay.
సో హియర్ టిల్డెడ్ ద రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఈస్ క్లియర్, రైట్? అంటే మనం ఎందుకు యూస్ చేస్తున్నాం అన్నది క్లియర్ కదండి మీకు.
Yes, yeah, that is clear.
యా, ఓకే, ఐ విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ దిస్ లాజిక్ ఎనీవే. సో the requirement is clear, then we can go with the configuration. So now you can
Yeah.
see the configuration we made here is, so total this invoice number, why this invoice number I map it to only the input one? Any specific condition I can map this invoice number to the second input, right? Why I am passing this invoice number to the first input? Because use one as many had 3 inputs, right? Whatever the value we are mapping to the input one, that value will send to the target.
Okay.
That value will send to the target, the second line item, and then tall line item. So first line item is done, right? So now let me upload one test payload now. So see here, we have to handle many context changes here. So here display queue, let me check the display queue, how many times this invoice number is created. So this is invoice number is creating one time, and the line items, how many times it is created. So let me see. So see here, the line item is creating 4 times. So what is the same behavior of these two queues? Anyone can explain? So what is the same behavior? What is the same behavior of the input 1 and then input 2? So here I had a total how many values? Total here in the first invoice 01 I had a 1 value, and coming to the line item I have 3 values. But here the behavior of this invoice number and the line item is, it contains the same context changes. So here you can see I don't have any context changes here. Here also I don't have any context changes. So see, the input 1 and input 2, the rule is, the fixed rule is, the context changes will be the same for invoice number 1, I mean input 1 and input 2, the context changes. But coming to the third input, so whatever we have the third input, the count of the value should be same. So count of the value should be same for input 1 and input 2. So see here I had three values, right? So here also I had three values, but here the input 2 and input 3 doesn't match. I mean, it will it is not required to match with the context changes. Clear? So input 1 and input t, the input 2, input 1 and input 2, the context changes should be same. But coming to the input 2 and input 3, the value should be same. Then only the use one as many will pass the values to the target. If this condition is false, if this condition is false, so for example I had a one value here, I had a context change at the second value. So but here I had a input 1, I had only one context change, but here I had a two context change. Immediately the use one as many will fail in the validation part. So for example, I had a three values here, but coming to the target side, I had a four values. So that time also the use one as many condition will fail. So based on, so see here, based on this condition, so this value will pass based on three times, right? So see here, first what it is doing is this value is copying to this three contexts. So three line items. So after that, it is doing the context change. So like this, so context change, same value, right? This is copying to the first one 0 1, the second one 0 2, the third one 0 3. So based on this line item context, the value will be copied to the target structure. So let me simulate this. So based on that, you will get a clear understanding. Okay. So see here, this is the line, I mean header values here. So these are the header values. So I mean invoice 01, and this is date, and then item number, line item, first line item item number, second line item item number, third line item number. So let me test this. So see, this invoice will copy to the multiple levels at the target side. So see here, this invoice, so see this invoice is created first time, this invoice is created second line item, and the same invoice number is a copied at the third line item. So let me show you what will happen if I directly map this value to the target. So previously I explained in a theoretical way, right? So let me explain you directly. So see, if I map this value directly to this invoice number, what will happen is the simulation itself will fail at the uh, mapping level. Why? Because this for second line item and then third line item, the value is not coming. So see here, this invoice details second queue, only second queue. It first queue have this first invoice number, but second queue doesn't have values, right? So that is the reason, based by using this to reduce this type of errors, you can use one as many, and you can configure based on what are the values we have to map to the line items, that you can use in a use one as many. So and also we have a format by example. If you see the format by example, so actually the second input and then third input, so if you see the second input and then third input of the use one as many, so see here input 1 and then input 2. So see, what is the condition for input 2 and input 3 in a use one as many? The values count should be same, right? It doesn't check for the context change. So the value should be, the values count should be same. So if I see display queue, so see I had a total three line items. If I go for an item number, so total three values are there and three context changes are there. So same way, so line item and then item number. So see here, so line item and then display queue. So see three values and then three context changes. So if I remove this input one, how the use one as when will behave, like that the format by example will behave actually. So see, that means the input one, input two, input three, the use one as many, what are the value we are sending to the target, that time we will use this input one. but format by example will use it for mostly to generate the node at the target cell. Clear? So that means if I wanted to send the values from this context to this context, then we will use the format by example. So clear, these are the main differences uh, in a use one as many and then format by example. So that means when you got a question or when you have a requirement in your real time, so you have to check these conditions first. So what is the occurrence of the source field? So invoice number occurrence, and then what is the occurrence of the line item, that means second input. What is the occurrence of the item number, that means third input. You have to check these occurrences, and we have to check how many times it is repeating for the each line item, and how many times it is repeating for entire payload. So that values you have to check, then only we can configure. If the occurrences are satisfied with the 0 to unbound, then only we can use this use one as many function. Otherwise the mapping itself fails. So for example, see, the context is available in this, right? So invoice. So for example, if I place in, okay, this invoice both are same. For example, if I remove this context here, so see, this is line item, right? If I place invoice, so if I refresh, so all line items will comes under one queue actually. So see, so see, all are coming in a one queue. So if I check the simulation mode now, what will happen? So let me test the one context. So that means that context is removed, right? So see the invoice details. So invoice number is not created because all values. So that means see here, all values are coming to the one context. So one context. That means first invoice details, the values are going. So the second invoice and then third invoice, whatever we configured here, second invoice details and then third invoice details, the values are not generated for invoice 0. So because the values are kept in first queue, I mean first context. So that means only invoice details, so only first invoice details only had these three values. So remaining two are empty, right? That is the reason we are getting the queue doesn't have a values, like that we are getting. So like that we have to specify, so we have to check each and every condition when we are using this use one as many concept. Okay.
The you said the second and third input must have same number of values, right? But after you change the context, also it has same number of values only, no? Is it
Yeah.
mandatory to make?
Yeah, here you can see if it is in a 0 to unbound. So see here, so here you can see this is 1 to 1, right? Arun,
Mm,
this is 1
mm.
to 1 actually. So if it is in a 0 to 1, if it is in a 0 to 1, the mapping will successful. Why? Because, so see here, if I remove the context of this, see here, so here it is not failing in a use one as many condition if you observe in there, right?
Mhm.
So see here, if I make a simulation mode, so it is not failed at the use one as many condition. So it is failing at the second item doesn't have value for the line item. Like that it is failed. It is not failed for use one as many if you observe. So see, cannot process target element. So see invoice number. Q has not enough values in the context. That means the second line item, whatever the invoice details, the second line item, this item number is not generated. So for example, for your understanding, if I change the XSD here, so for example, if I make this XSD as a 0 to 1, now then it will successful because this field is not mandatory at the targets. Clear?
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is not taking the second input value. Other it is one
Yes,
to one.
right. Yes, yes. That is the reason it is failing.
Okay, got it. Got it. If it is 0 to
Yeah.
1 or 0 to 1, it will take.
Yes, 0 to 1 or 0 to unbound it will take because this field is not mandatory that time.
It is not taking. It is not repeating multiple times at the target side. No.
Yeah, even if you are a 1 to 1, it will take only first occurrence, remaining will be suppressed
Mm.
automatically.
Yeah, understood.
So clear, anyone had questions on it, like Srikanth and Vamsi?
So this is the mandatory rules for the use one as many. First one should be
Yes, sir, these are the mandatory. These are the mandatory. So first input and second input, we have to
should have.
compare the context changes, and the second input and third input, the value should be same. The
Okay,
values
and
count should be same actually.
okay. Chandra, for the first and second input, sorry, uh, you have instead for the second input you have given line item. No, for the third input also, if you maintain line item, it will work, right?
Yes, sometimes it will work. Yes, yes, it will definitely work. Yes, you are also correct. We can also map this line item also. So, but here you
Okay.
can see why I am using this item number is, so here these are the three different contexts, right? So see here, invoice details is it generating at the three times here. So if the all invoice item numbers will be come under one item details, then I can use this line item at the third input. You
Mhm.
got my point?
Mhm.
Yeah, if the values, so here it is generating three values at the three context at the target side, right? So that is the
Yeah.
reason, based on this item number context, it should copy the value to the target context.
Okay.
So that is the reason I am using item number here.
If
So
we
that
map
will
line,
also work.
can we check the
That
output?
will,
How? Okay.
yeah, you see here, that will also work. It will, how it will come, how it will come is, here without context we will get a third input actually.
Understood. So third input is the playing the context changes at the target side.
Yes, yes, right. Based on the count of the values. So see, if I
Uh,
check the use one as many, uh, display queue, you will get clear, right? So see
okay. In the
here,
out,
the same
uh,
values, same output, whatever we have, different context, I mean without context changes. So if I pass
okay.
this here, I will get a values actually, because this is invoice number, right? The item number, right? Here I will get a values actually. So this is the
Okay.
output of the use one as well. So if I add this line item, what will happen? So here we will get a context changes at the target side. If you see, let me remove this. So if I change the line item, so now if you see, you will get a, here also we will get a context changes, and at the target side also we will get a context changes.
Hmm. So yeah, understood.
Yeah. So
So
like
if
this, the use one as many will work.
context of the line item third input, then again it will repeat the same. All will come under one context. Right?
Yes, right.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay, then we will go with, so these are the mapping functions. So mostly we all covered. So some what like a small mapping functions I missed, the like a sign, negative, like absolute, that you can check in internet, that is very easy. So that is complex to understand, I mean explain each and every mapping function. So now see, this is the XML to JSON converter. Now I will explain.
Format
So
by
what does,
example also you can show one
yeah,
example.
format for
Format.
example, the same, use one as many, whatever the conditions we have around, the same conditions. So like a second input and third input, right? So the same conditions you can, context, I mean same context changes you can use. Just I will provide this XSDs with you. So based on that you can practice from your end, okay? So I will
I mean,
provide this XS.
works how it works, how the input come, how the output will reflect like that. I want to see exactly.
Yeah, for format by example.
Yes, yes.
Okay, tomorrow or day after tomorrow I will explain. So I already configured this. So we'll
Okay.
complete this. Then we can discuss on format by example again. Okay. Yeah. So now see, this message is coming in a XML format. Whatever the output we are giving here, the message mapping here you can see the message mapping. So here you can see this is we are getting in a XML format. So but target requires in a CSV format. What does mean by CSV first of all? So comma separated values. So CSV stands for comma separated values. So for example, this is the output we are getting, right? Move to other view. So see here, this is the output we are getting as a target. But target doesn't understand the CSV format. So how we can pass this value into the CSV format? So manually we can change. So see here, this is the new one. So let me move to the other view. This one. So see here, this is the source XML and this is the target CSV format. So here you can see we can manually convert this INV underscore number. So this is the first one and item name is number. So that means you, in Excel sheet you can find these values, right? Like a header name and then multiple values. Okay, so see here invoice number, item number. If you see invoice number and then item number. So invoice number, what is the first invoice number here? INV01, INV01 here. So see here, so the same values we can copy to the bottom. So that means we are manually copying this. We are manually converting this to XML to CSV. So see, this is called as a CSV file, comma separated values. The extension of these files are .csv. So for example, here this XML payload is saved as a .xml. But for coming to the CSV files, this is saved as a .csv file. For example, test and .csv. So dash.csv. So you can click on save. So now see it is converted as a CSV file. So now the target is able to understand the files in a CSV format. So how we can convert this XML payload to this CSV format? So see here, for to convert the XML to CSV, we will use this XML to CSV converter. In the transformation part, we have a converter. So in that XML to CSV, we have this option XML to CSV converter. So in that option, what we have to configure is, so in the processing tab, so for this XML, the whatever the source XML they are triggering from the source, from this message mapping, so this what is the input of this XML to CSV, that input XML source element we have to give here. Source element means here you can see, so this is a invoice, right? So this is invoice and this is invoice details. The source element means from where the values are repeating actually. So see here, these are the values repeating, right? The invoice slash invoice details. So invoice slash invoice details, and from this onwards it will automatically read these details and it will place in a CSV format at the target site. So see here, this is the format of I already configured this configuration here. So see here, this is the path to the source element in XSD. Source element in XSD. So what is the required separator at the target site? So some business cases we will use a different types of separators for a field. So see here, sometimes we will use a colon, sometimes we will use comma, dot, pipe, semicolon, space, and then slash t. Slash t means tab. So it will arrange five spaces in a each field. Instead of comma, if I say instead of comma, it will provide five spaces. Tab means five spaces it will provide. So now see, so let me so these are the configuration. So here this is the include field name as a header. So let me test along with this including headers. So let me test up to this, so you can ignore the CSV to XML now. So now let me test this. So same thing is happened in a simulation. So actually here I forgot to add the mapping details here. So let me add the payload here. That is the reason it is failed. Thing there. So let me execute this. So just to convert XML to CSV, that is this example is simulation again failed. Why? Have you made any changes in the mapping? Okay, okay. So here this is a before mapping source XML we have to give, right? So that is the issue actually. Now it will execute. So see if the simulation is failed, it will show in the red color and also you can see the error details there. Just is not responding. Just a second. Let me save and refresh this. So sometimes we will get a you're not a authorized person to access this integration flow like that we will get. Just refresh the page or else go back to the design tab, integrations, last 10 and then artifact. So let me take now. So instead of mapping, so I am taking this from here. So something is happening in the mapping. So here I can take the what is the required structure. So target XML. So I have to give the XML here. So and I am passing this XML to the XML to CSV converter. So let me convert this. So what this XML to CSV will do is, so it will convert this format to this format. So let's see. Okay, again it is failed. Just a second. Invoice. So let me check the error details now. So invoice details INV0101 invoice details. It is failing. When it is not responding properly. Just a second. Or else let me take a new example. Instead of this, let me create a new one. Small format request, check all the input values. Why? So in CPI, we will get this type of error sometimes, and because when the runtime node or else backend databases are refreshing, sometimes we will get this type of errors. We have to bear with them, or else we can create a ticket to SAP. So they will check and they will update something like this is under maintenance like that. So see, even I select this, their operations are not coming in below. So XML to CSV converter. So again, let me try again this. So it was failed anyway. So let's try to configure the new integration flow. Here add option also not coming. Yes, now I got it. So here let me edit this. So let's configure from the starting that XML to CSV con. So see here XML to CSV converter. So see here this is the format. So here what we have to place here source element in XSD. What is the source element in XSD? So invoice slash so invoice slash invoice details. Invoice detail. So what is the required format, comma? So including field name as a header. So I placed these details right. So let me test this now. Or else you can make some content modifier or HTTPS sender. So that's up to you. So you can make that one and you can trigger the message from source itself. Let me execute this. So simulation completed successfully. Now see what is the format we placed here. So this is invoice details. So invoice number and invoice number and then item number. So if you observe, set the target side, we will get a same structure how we created. So before showing that, so we created like this, right? So invoice number, comma invoice number. So here you can see, so same format whatever the format we created in the notepad, so the same format was created by this XML to CSV converter. So see, for sometimes we doesn't require these values, so that means the root elements we doesn't require, that time you can use this option. So see this option you can use. So now what will happen is it will not take the first line item, so that heading line item we have, right? Item number comma item num, invoice number comma item number, so that values will not generate at the target side. So this is a normal value, but backend it is working fine without any issue. So see, we are getting only the actual values, we are not getting any of the header values here. So like that we can create a XML to CSV converter, and also we have other two options in the below, so that is including the parent element. So here I'm using this one, right? Invoice slash invoice details. So invoice slash invoice details. So that means here in this option, so for example if I had any of the parent elements in this XML, so if I wanted to convert that values also, you can use that option. And also the attributes, so include attribute values. What does mean by attributes means, so inside of the, so here you can see attributes represents the behavior of the uh, field actually. So sometimes we have attribute values like uh, with the at rate actually, at rate, while explaining this is JSON, that JDBC adapter, I will explain about the attributes clearly in XML. Okay, so we will maintain like for example option option equal to, for example, insert. So insert. So that means this operation will specify we are inserting the data. So for example, here option equal to, so option equal to get, for example, get. So this operation is used to get the details. So like that we can use. So that is called as a operation actually. I mean attribute. So that attribute, if requires that attribute values, you can use this. You can check this box. So based on that, it will convert the attribute values to the CSV format. So this is the XML to JSON to converter. So after that, the same functionality I'm using for CSV to XML.
Chandra,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Arun.
if I want to directly convert CSV to XML directly, I want for the first color itself is CSV. Then can I take CSV payload directly to convert XML in the simulation tab?
Sorry, sorry.
Now directly first for the XML to CSV, what you did, you have placed XML payload in the simulation tab and you have run it to convert to CSV.
Yeah, right.
So in that case, instead of that, if I take CSV to XML, if we place directly the CSV format,
Yeah, it will come.
can
That I am explaining, Arun. So this is output we are getting CSV, right? So see here, this is CSV we are getting, right? So now I am converting this one to the XML file. So this will explain that. So now see,
actually,
now, yeah, sorry.
yeah, yeah, actually why I ask is I have one IDOC where it is in
Okay.
space for, the delimiter is space. So
Okay,
I
delimitary
want
space. Okay.
delimiter is space or field fixed length, somewhat it is. I just
Okay.
want to put IDOC into XML directly.
Okay.
So can I convert that into XML that I just wanted?
Yes, we do you have XSD? I mean, like IDOC XML, then you can use this actually. So see here, this is XML schema, right? So in this, so this is the CSV. So you can compare to that IDOC requirement, Arun. So actually, so here you can see, for example, I'm removing this XML to CSV. I'm explaining based on your requirement. So let me delete this. So now I'm getting the source format as a CSV file now. So
Uh,
in a source format as CSV I'm getting. So now what we have to do is, so what is the target XML structure we require? We have to upload that XSD in a CSV to XML structure. So here I am uploading the target structure. So here this is the target structure I require actually. So now I already uploaded and we have to specify the path to the target XM, I mean element in XSD. So now whatever we maintained previously, so this is the target element at the CSV. So target element in the CSV part is this one, invoice underscore invoice details.
yeah, Chandra. Here the target XSD is not there. That is what I am facing difficulty.
Yeah, that is
Target.
in PI
Uh,
actually we will use that module conversions actually. But coming to the CPI, we have to go for a custom mapping. Like we have to go for a Groovy script. So here you can
okay.
see, as you said that tabs, right? So you can use tabs and whatever the source XM, I mean CSV contains commas and semicolons. So based on that, you can use. Yeah,
So
Arun,
without
actually, yeah, Arun,
it's
your requirement will cover later because remaining members doesn't know the what is the conversion. So once complete
okay.
the session, you can ask your real-time questions, okay? So because the remaining person doesn't know what is CSV to XML conversions also. So once I explain this scenario, you can ask the real-time requirements, okay?
Okay.
So here, Vamsi and Arun, so are you clear, right? So here we are getting the CSV to XML format. Now I am placing the CSV format. So what it is, this is the CSV format I am copying here. So now what this CSV to XML converter will do is, so based on this, based on this data, whatever we placed, we are triggering from the source. The CSV to XML converter will take the data, and based on the XML and then source value in the XML element, and also based on the separator, it will convert it to the XML format. So I already placed data, right? So I already placed data. So let me run the simulation. So here you can see. So this is the data I placed. So whatever the data I placed. So see, let me show you again. So this is the invoice number, item number, invoice number, and then item number. So see, this is the target output. So see here, this is the target output. Let me copy and beautify it. So based on that, you will get a clear idea. So this is the, so why we are getting total 3 line items. So all, let me change it to the XML format. So see here, why we are getting this element. So here you can say it is taking the first line item also as a one record action. So that is the reason it is taking 4 line items. I mean, it is generated 4 line items. Got it? So that is, it is taking first line item. So whatever the CSV format we have, so it is taking first line item as a value, and it is converted to the convert and sending to the target here, you can see. So this is the value also it is created. So if we are not providing this value for the first line item, so it will just take these values and create the XSD without any issue. So see here, cancel it once. Okay. So now we will get total 3 values at the target set for the invoice details. So this is the model. So see, only 3 line items we got. Let me close this. So see, this is the, let me select the language. So invoice one. So total 3 line items. 1, 2, and 3. So previously I had total 4 line items because I had a header line items also, right? That is the reason it is created 3 times. So clear, right? Any queries here? So for converting CSV to XML. So I hope clear. So let's convert, let's connect with the Kafka now. So like Kafka means, so this is also one of the event driven system. So event driven system, we already discussed about what it is. What is the system we connected for event driven? So by using AMQP adapter and then REST adapter, we connected with that system, if you remember. So what is the system it is? Advanced event mesh. So that means Solus pops up. So now this Kafka also as a event driven architecture system actually. So whatever the data we are storing in a Kafka system, so that you can connect with the Kafka adapter. So to connect with the Kafka adapter, we need access for Apache Confluent Cloud. So Confluent Cloud is a one of the, Kafka providers. So see here. So this is the Confluent Cloud page actually. Confluent Cloud. So in that you can create your account or else sign in with Google. So they are providing 30 days of a free trial period. Okay, they are providing 30 days of a free trial provider. So in real time, we don't require to do these many things because they will provide the access to the Kafka system. So that means URL, host, and everything they will provide. So based on that, we will connect with that systems actually. So for real time, I mean for getting the knowledge of the how we can connect with the Kafka systems and all, we will make the provision of the Kafka system, and we will also configure the connectivities to this Kafka system. So now see, I already have an account, so you can place your full name and company name, whatever it is. You can space TCS, IBM, Infosys, whatever it is. So you can place that name here and your mail ID and then password. So once it is done, it will just provide you the activation link to your Gmail ID, email ID. So based on that, you can activate and click on start trial. So once you are login, so I'm logging to my system now. So let me log into it. So I already have an account, so let me log into it. So next, so in this we can see in the Confluent Cloud we have a default cluster. So while creating it also, we have to select which type of a cloud module you want. So see here, this is the environments I had. So see here, I am in a free trial. So this is the Confluent Cloud home page. This is, so here you can find what are all the environments I have, how many clusters we have, how many partitions I had. So you can find all the details here. So if I enter to the environments, inside of the environments I have a cluster. So see, this is the default environment. So this is the cluster I have. So you can see this is the cluster. So inside of the cluster we have a many topics. So if I open this cluster, I have a many topics. So see here, so this is the cluster, right? Here you can see these are the topics option. If I click on it, so see this is the topic. So topic means, so actual value from the CPI will store in this topic actually. So see here, so here you can see in the messages tab, what are all the messages we are triggering from CPI or else reading from CPI, you can find here. So now see, we have to connect with this topic now. So we have to connect with this topic here. So how we can establish connection from CPI to this topic? So now see, let me take, so in this example only I am taking connecting with a Kafka adapter here. So see, I am connecting with Kafka adapter. So I connected with Kafka adapter. So it will run over the TCP protocol, transport. So TCP protocol, and the message protocol is Kafka. So in the connection details, we have to provide a host and then credential name. So where we will get this host details and then connection details here. I mean credential details here. So see here, I already log into this system, right? So here, just a second, finish your, okay. So now see in this Confluent Cloud, you can find this cluster settings. So in the cluster settings, you can find this server IP here. So see, this is the Bootstrap server. If I wanted to connect with only this host, so you can use this host and then port here. If I wanted to connect with a REST APIs, then you can use this. You can use this REST endpoint. So let me copy this Bootstrap server, and I am placing that inside of this Kafka adapter. So see here, I am placing it. So sometimes we have a multiple clusters, right? Multiple Bootstrap servers I have. So that time I have to provide a multiple. So you can add n many hosts here, and you can add your host. How many hosts you have, you can make available in the adapter configuration. So see authentication SASL, I'm using here SASL. So and also this is a connect with TLS, transport layer security. So how the transport layer security will comes under the picture, I will explain. So this is a SASL mechanism. I'm using plain only. That means we are connecting with a base username and password. So where we will get this username and password? So see here we have API key, right? So we have a API key. So I already created one API key. So if I click on it, So see, this is the API credential. I mean, this is the key, this is the secret actually. So I haven't shown you right how to create. So here let me add. So let me delete this first of all. We also have option to delete. I have so delete API key. So confirm. Please test and then I'm just confirm. Type confirm. Okay. So now see I confirmed to delete. So create key. So just click on create key. So this is a global access and then general access. I'm using the global access and click on next. So now see you can find this key and secret. So key is our username in the user credentials and secret is our password now. So see this is the key and this is the secret. If you want you can also download this key actually. Download if you want. So that is it. So now this key is created today now. So see May 29 2023. So now let me configure that details in our user credentials. So let me go to the monitoring page. So the T is for key store, right? Sorry. So here you can see security material. So previously I already created it. So let me delete this one. So let me use the credentials. So I'm using class 10 underscore Kafka. So let me make that name as it is in a credential name here. So now see the description not required, that is not mandatory. The user we already copied here, right? So the user I am copying here, the password, whatever we copied from the API key, you can use that password. So now it is deployed. So now next step is so I already configured this. So in the processing tab, which topic it should connect. So see what is the topic we created. So in this we can create a multiple topics here. We had already, this is a default topic, that is topic 0. So if I wanted to create a topic, you had an option at the right side, add topic. So you can use your, for example, if I'm storing invoice details. So invoice detail. So see you can play a, so invoice. So if required you can make like one two like that you can make. So here click create with the default. So see now invoice one topic is created. So now see you can find, so here these are the messages and what are all the messages we triggered, you can find here in the messages. So see in the messages you can find. So let me go to the configuration level. So invoice underscore one. So remaining all options are mostly default. So based on our requirement, we can change the size of the message and then max number of retries. You can change based on our requirement. So let me save this. Before saving it, so let me make some content modifier here. So to trigger the data to the target system. Or else you can configure the sender system. That sender system will trigger the message. So that's up to you. So just I am concentrating on connectivity with the Kafka adapter. That is it. So this, whenever the timer is initiate the process, immediately the content modifier data will be triggered to the target system. You can make any of the format in a content modifier because this is just a storage, right? It will support any of the any type of data. So see now if I deploy this, so what will happen, immediately the data will trigger to the target system. So before triggering, so let me delete this certificate part now. So I already updated the certificate. So let me delete this part. So then you will get a what is TLS now. So I deleted them. So let me deploy this. So if I deploy this data, so immediately one message will trigger right after timer event starts. So let's see. So three message, total three integration flows I deployed. Total three are successful. So let's wait for message processing. So one message got failed here. You can see in the message processing, one message got failed. So why it is failed actually? Why it is failed? So see here, clearly it is saying, so SSL authorization exception, SSL handshake failed, secure socket layer. SSL means secure socket layer handshake failed. So unable to find a valid certification path to the requested target. So that means we configured this target right here. So whatever the Kafka we configured, so here we selected the connecting with the TLS. So TLS, transport layer security. So to check the transport layer security, we have to upload the client certificates into the CPI system. So how to download the client certificates and how to connect with that system. So see here connectivity test, right? We had a connectivity test here. So if I check we had a connectivity test. So in the connectivity test, we had a TLS here. We had TLS. So where we can get this host actually? So we already configured this, right? So here for TLS, we have to use this host only. So see here connection test tab, and I'm placing this data and just a valid server certificate required. So if I click on send, so it is failing. So if I uncheck this option, it will try to connect with the server. So see successfully reached to this host. Now you can see once I'm able to successfully reach to the server, you can see the certificates, the certificate chain in the below. So that means see you had an option to download this option also. So if I click on download, one file will be coming to my local machine. So let me open the folder now. So this certificate contains two files actually. So let me show you that. So see r3.cer and then confluentcloud.cer. Certificate file extension is .cer. So see here, this is the certificate. So this is the valid from 4/2/2023 to 7/1/2023. So certificate path is, so this is the root. This is the intermediate and then client. So this is the client certificate. So now this is client certificate. We have to upload this to CPI system. So let me upload this into the CPI. So we already downloaded, right? So based on this connection tab, we can connect that systems and we can download the client certificates. So let me open this key store and let me show you how to upload this. So sorry, here add option and click on certificate. So you can give Kafka underscore class 10 and you can click on browse. So see it was in download side. Let me go to the downloads and select the first one. So let me click on add. So now you can see just we have to confirm this, that is just certificate warning. So see now it is uploaded Kafka underscore class 10 and this is the valid until this is the last modifier. So here you can see we have to check this a validation until June 1st. So that means after June 1st, we have to update the certificate in CPI tenant. Otherwise, the message will fail. So now this is done, right? So now what happened? The certificate part is uploaded, right? So if I deploy this message now, so now I deployed the message. So now see one message definitely processed to the target system. So you can find the messages here. Uh, so three are installed now. So see this is completed now. The latest message is completed. So see the invoice message is available here. So this is the value. These are the headers if I send any header. So here you can see SAP message processing log ID. So and this is the key, this is the key, this is the value. So like that you can find the values here. So this is the actual payload. So clear, like that you can trigger the message. So for example, if I redeploy again, the message will go to the target system again and again. So if I schedule every 30 seconds, every 40 seconds, every 30 seconds, the message will trigger to the target system. So like that, you can configure this Kafka adapter receiver side. So the same sender side also, we have a same configuration. At the center side also, we have the same configurations. Oh, let me select this. Why it is not showing the options? Mm, at the center side also we have the same configuration to read the data from the Kafka adapter. Send the message. So see here, you can use that one, Kafka adapter. So see the same host, port and topic details we have to configure. So host, the same configuration in the connections. In the processing, we have to provide the topic name here. And in advanced, how many messages we have to fetch, what is the size of the data. So that all we have to configure here. So like that, whenever the message placed in this topic, it will automatically pick by CPI. So see here, this is the second time I deployed it. That time the message was created here. So like that, you can read the data from the Kafka adapter by using the Kafka, and you can send the data to the Kafka adapter by using this configuration. just just this is to the Kafka system is used to for the analytics. So like I'm storing the invoice details from the last 1 year. So how many times it is like to store the data in a for the analytics purpose, then we will use this Confluent Cloud. We also have a different vendors. So for example, if I go for, so this is from Apache, this is from Apache actually. So if I go for Azure, for example, Azure Event Hubs also we have. So by using Kafka, you can also connect with the Azure Event Hubs actually. Azure also we have some event like Soles pops up we already taken, right? So like that, Azure, Microsoft Azure also providing that event based systems. So that also you can connect with the Kafka and AMQP and REST adapter.
Chandra, now what is this Kafka system actually? What kind of system it is?
So this is a event driven system.
Event driven system. Okay.
Yeah, event driven. So for example, uh, you can say like events. So what are all the events we are getting from some of the generations? For example, if you are maintaining one warehouse actually, warehouse, right? So warehouse contains some goods, right? So that goods should be there in some particular temperature. So to calculate the temperature, they will make some sensors inside of the warehouses. So that sensor will generate every second the temperature details they will produce, and they will send it to the target systems. So that means the sensor,
Okay.
whatever the temperature they had, so that temperature immediately will affect to, I mean, will store in this event driven systems. So if the temperature is increasing, immediately this event driven systems will notify to the other systems. So that means who are the responsible for that particular action, they will immediately send the data to the target system. I mean like a particular particular users or else particular systems. So based on that, they will take immediate action on the temperature reducer or then increasing, like that. So why we are using this event driven systems is the communication from the event driven systems is very fast compared to this integration tools. So when the
Okay.
message is came to this topic, immediately it will send to the target. So every, I mean, like a milliseconds, every second it will try to reprocess the message 3 times, 4 times. Based on our configuration, it will process the message to the target system.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you observe last time event mesh lo configure చేసినప్పుడు I had around 30 messages. So that 30 messages came to CPI within 1 single second. So that is the main advantages of this event driven systems. The data will process to the targets immediately. The data will process to the targets.
Okay. And you did some connectivity test, no? What exactly we are doing to download that certificate? I did not understand that concept.
Yeah, here you can see the connectivity test is very simple actually.
Yeah.
So for example, before configuring this, I would like to check I'm able to connect with server or not.
Okay.
Got it? So you can use this host actually. You can use this host inside of the connectivity test. Inside of the connectivity test, and you can download. So based on the system type, for example, if I want to connect with any HTTPS application, you can use TLS. If I want to connect with the SSH, that means SFTP server, you can use SSH. If I want to connect with FTP server, I mean file transfer protocol, you can use this one. So these SMTP, IMPS, POP3, these three will use to connect with the mail server. So these are the different simple mail transfer protocol. This is a IMAP and then POP. These are the three protocols will be maintained by the mail server actually. So if I want to connect with a mail server, you can use these three options. So if I want to connect with AMQP, so AMQP adapter, we are configured right already. So if I want to connect connectivity test for this AMQP, you can use this. If I want to check the Kafka, you can use this Kafka adapter. So if I want to connect with the cloud connector to connect with on-premise, we will connect with the cloud connector here. So like this, so just before going to the configuration, if I wanted to check the connectivity test to the target system, so you can use this connectivity test tab. So otherwise, you can also download the certificates. So for example, usually how we will download the certificates without this option. So without, for example, I don't have this I mean like connectivity test option. How to download the certificates of the server? So we also have a second option to download certificates. So here you can see we have cluster settings, right? You can see this REST endpoint. So if I copy this and if I paste this here, it will connect with that system, right? So see, this is connected with system. This system HTTP error. It is connecting with that system. So we have another option to download the certificates. You can use this log symbol and go to the connection is secured and go to the validate the certificates. So here you can see this is the certificate detail. So it is a up to July 1st it is a valid. So here you can see the details. So this is the, so here if I click on export, it will ask for the certificate path. So for example, if I save it, one file will be generated in my local machine. If you see, so see, this is the file it is just created. If I drag, so see 529 2023 921, it was just created. So we have a two options to create a I mean to get the certificate, client certificate from the target server. So for HTTPS, so you can use the Google Chrome or else Internet Explorer, or else you can go with the Microsoft Edge also. So you can click on this lock symbol and you can find the certificates. Other also, and also you can use this connectivity, I mean connectivity tab. That means test connectivity session. So based on that, you can just download here
I,
and you can upload the key stores. Yeah,
and
yeah,
what is it is to identify the server. We are able to importing that certificate, server level authentication.
yeah, that is for a SSL handshake, Arun. Actually, SSL handshake. So SSL handshake means, so see, if I am connecting from the Chrome, the Chrome had a capability to automatically download that SSL certificates, and it will able to connect with the target server. So but coming to the CPI doesn't have capability to download the client SSL certificates. So
Okay.
that is the reason we are providing that client SSL certificates in a key stores. So when it is making a call to the target system, what CPI will do is, with this host we had any SSL keys. So if it is available, then it will check for the validation and it will send a message to the target system. If not, it will throw an error, whatever the error we got previously. SSL handshake failed, right? We got error. So like that we will get error. So see here, SSL handshake failed.
So it is just
So
like a
like,
SSL certificate, huh?
yes, right.
So okay. Normally, uh, we in case of SFTP, we will provide some public key to the user.
Yeah,
That is
SSH. That is different. This is different actually.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, we cannot compare both because the protocol also same, right? Protocol also different, right? So we cannot compare both.
Normally in PA we will import these SSL certificates, right, in the key store. So
In
now
key
here,
stores,
yeah,
trusted CS we have to import. Yeah.
yeah. So that is what we are doing here in the connectivity test. Huh?
Yes, right. No. Connectivity test to get the certificates.
Get the certificate, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But whatever the we are doing in NWA certificates, that part we are moving. I mean, we are storing in a key stores actually.
Yeah, understood. Got it.
Yeah.
So it is mandatory to connect with each of the user. Without SSL, we cannot connect with CPI.
Sorry.
I mean, each partner has a different SSL certificate, right? So
Yes, sir. That is mandatory actually. For example, if I had four systems, so for example, if I am creating other integration flow with the same IP, I mean this with the same details, we don't require to configure this SSL again. So because it will use the same file here. So but the host is different for other system. For example, the host is different for your trial tenant. So that we have to update here. So that means we have to create a new integration flow, and also we have to update that system host related SSH keys, and I mean SSL details in the key stores again. So that means whenever the host is changing, that values we have to update in a key stores also.
okay.
Yeah,
For example, in case of SFTP, if we are using
yeah,
server authentication, that time we
yeah. I
require.
will explain. So we have SSH SFTP concept separately with the cloud connector. I will explain
Okay.
in that details. Like we have to update that SSH keys in a known host file. I will explain that clear. Okay.
Normally, I'm asking Chandra. Normally, in case of normally, just for information, but in case
Yeah.
of SFTP, we also needed SSL, and also if we are
No.
using public.
SFTP requires only SSH or else
Okay.
public key. Yeah.
Okay.
So any other queries from anyone? Srinath and Vamsi. I hope no. So we'll connect tomorrow and we will complete this. We also done the converters, right? So converters and message mapping also done. So we are pending with mostly these functions. So the Boolean functions also done. Uh, so Groovy script and SSL and Kafka also done. JDBC and SFTP and converters also done, CSV to XML, and then aggregator, gather, join, and content enricher. And these three concepts will cover in tomorrow session. Okay. So
Chandra,
aggregator, gather, join. and content enricher and IDOC, SF and Ariba. Yeah, Arun.
Groovy script XSLT you have covered or not, right?
No, no, not it, not it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just highlighted these options. What are all the pending options below of this? Okay. So it will take Groovy will take around 3 hours, and XSLT will take around 1 hour. So this SFTP will take 1 hour. So we have, because we have to configure the cloud connector setup, and we have to install SFTP server in our local machine, and then we have to establish connectivity from CPI to cloud connector to CPI. I mean SFTP. So three systems
Okay.
involvement is there for connecting with SFTP server.
Chandra, I want to
So
have one clarity. Only when we require SSL, actually, that is what I am still a bit confusion. For each of the every partner, we require SSL.
not partner Akil here, Aruni here. The SSL means when you are connecting with HTTPS applications.
HTTP.
HTTPS application.
Mhm.
HTTPS applications. So that time we will use this SSL client SSL certificates in a key stores.
You are saying only with respect to CPI. I mean, because in PI we have so many SSL certificates for each of the different users. I mean, different third party users.
That third party systems we are connecting with which protocol? I mean which adapter?
That may be SOAP or FTP, SFTP, anything.
SFTP we will use a keys. Keys actually. SSH keys we had. So that is not SSL actually.
Even if we use REST also, we will be using SSL certificate.
SSL is used secure socket layer is used
Okay,
for REST.
okay. Ah,
SSH is used for SFTP. Got it? So in the URL, so for SOAP also we will use SSL only.
yeah.
So if you are using HTTP without security, HTTP,
Okay,
this is
okay,
not required. The SSL certificate is not required. So if you are,
okay,
whenever you are using HTTPS in a SOAP or REST, that time we will use this SSL handshake.
okay. Got it. In case of FTP and all, it is not required, right?
Yes, yes, right. FTP also it doesn't require.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, got it. So okay, we'll connect tomorrow then. Bye everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra.
Yeah.